Beautiful nature, beautiful ladies, the best coffee beans in the world, exquisite beaches, lush rainforests, and a very affordable paradise. Costa Rica is for you. Many of you may have heard the name but are unsure what it is all about. While it is well known as a tourist destination, agriculture accounts for around 55% of the country's economy. Coffee, sugar, bananas, and chocolate are essential items in this industry. Costa Rica is Central America's biggest exporter of these items. This Central American republic is wedged between Nicaragua and Panama. If you look at a map, you'll notice that it's in a small area. Nicaragua, another country in this region, may be mentioned for the first time. Costa Rica confronts the Caribbean Sea to the north and the Pacific Ocean to the south. Visitors to this country mainly arrive at Juan Santa Maria International Airport in San Jose. Costa Rica can also be reached by bus from neighboring countries such as Honduras, El Salvador, and Mexico. Costa Rica has excellent weather all year thanks to its tropical environment, with an average temperature of about 25 degrees Celsius. If you wish to visit during the dry season, go from December to April. The official language of the country is Spanish. The Spaniards governed here once as they did in many other South American countries. For example, when Christopher Columbus landed on the Caribbean coast in 1502, he dubbed it Rich Coast because of the gold resources that were thought to exist there. The Spaniards, on the other hand, were let down in this aspect. They did not uncover vast amounts of gold in this country, contrary to predictions. Rather, they discovered that the country's subsurface resources were depleted. The country's present indigenous population was made up of people who had moved from countries like Guatemala at the time, earning a living through farming and hunting. Locals who climbed up the mountain slopes later discovered that these regions were suitable for coffee cultivation. Costa Rica did not achieve freedom and independence from Spanish domination until 1821. Thus, about 300 years of Spanish dominance came to an end. In life satisfaction indexes, Costa Rica now consistently ranks among the world's happiest countries. While many countries in Central and South America are experiencing economic hardship, Costa Rica consistently ranks among the top 15 happiest countries in the world. The country has a land area of 51,000 square kilometers and a registered population of only 5 million people. Approximately 90% of these individuals are of mestizo and mulatto ethnicity, with the remainder descended from Africans and other indigenous tribal peoples. Today, just 4 tribes in Costa Rica retain their identity, language, and culture. The rest of the population lives by modern-day expectations. Furthermore, activities such as gambling and prostitution are completely lawful in the country, and the government has no say in the matter. Of course, we don't credit their happiness only to these 2 characteristics, but the country's prostitution and casino industries draw millions of wealthy tourists. People primarily from the United States visit nations such as Costa Rica and Colombia. Gambling corporations have also opened numerous venues in the country. To take things a step further, Costa Rica is the only country in the world where driving under the influence is legal. In this country, if you leave a bar inebriated and get into your car, traffic cops will not punish you or remove your driver's license. Traffic signs were not even used in the country until 2012. After 2012, traffic regulations began to emerge. You might think that such liberties necessitate a substantial military presence in the country. Costa Rica is one of just 23 countries in the world without an army. Yes, this country has been without a military force since 1948. As a result, you may be wondering how they ensure national security. This is when the United States enters the picture. Costa Rica's external security is totally under the jurisdiction of the United States. As a result, it is difficult for anyone to tamper with this country. Given the size of the United States, I believe there is no need to describe how powerful they are. Furthermore, Costa Rica is unquestionably one of the safest and most livable countries in Latin America, not only in terms of foreign security, but also of internal security. Costa Rican education is now completely free, and the country leads Latin American countries in literacy rates. People can also acquire free drugs from pharmacies. Because of a well-developed hydropower system, geothermal sources, windmills, and solar panels, renewable energy sources provide around 98% of the country's electricity. Because Costa Rica is a true natural paradise, the water flowing from its rivers is completely safe to drink. People in rural areas in particular never pay for bottled water and instead get their water from nature. In addition, urinals in public restrooms in mall-like complexes do not have automated flush systems. Costa Ricans have chosen not to employ automated flush mechanisms in urinals in the interest of water conservation. If you want to observe circumstances like this in person, you can visit Costa Rica without a visa from practically every nation. Middle-aged and older Canadian, European, and American citizens primarily begin a second life in this country. For example, if a financially secure adult person has to choose between Sweden and Costa Rica, they are more likely to choose Costa Rica. This is because nations such as Sweden, which is part of the Scandinavian region, experience several months without sunlight, short daylight hours, and cold weather most of the time. Because of the chilly environment, the quality of fruits and vegetables is diminished, and dealing with different paperwork and complex administrative procedures is required for social services. All of this can be time-consuming and exhausting. Costa Rica has a year-round mild environment with sunny weather and stunning turquoise beaches. The crime rate is minimal, and a variety of fruits and vegetables grow naturally and taste best here. Even if the global system collapses, this country will be among the last to experience poverty and hunger, because whatever you grow in the soil here produces abundant harvests. You can live here for a long time if you only eat coconuts. Furthermore, you can invest in the country by purchasing land and constructing your ideal residence in the lush scenery. You can take your child to school for free and receive medication without having to worry about health insurance. Costa Rica is thus more livable than many developed European countries. Of course, as with any country, you can form bad opinions about it. For example, while going through the streets of the capital, you may encounter unpleasant scents or waste strewn about. Unfortunately, locals who are unable to locate facilities may waste themselves in the streets, contributing to the terrible scents. You may be surprised, if not shocked, during your first visit. Furthermore, unlike in several nations, there is no free social housing or free transit. If you do not want to work there, the government will not help you. From this vantage point, countries with a substantial welfare state, such as Sweden, are well ahead of Costa Rica, where there are technically no disadvantaged people. Salary in Costa Rica is roughly $700 per month. The country's minimum wage is approximately $600 per month. Costa Rica has the highest minimum wage and purchasing power in Latin America. People in this country earn greater minimum salaries not only in comparison to other Latin American countries, but also in comparison to other European and Balkan countries. People in Costa Rica, whether in rural or urban settings, have a relaxed expression on their faces. They appear to be happy and comfortable with their lives. When you meet them in person, almost all of them will smile at you. Furthermore, there are a substantial number of elderly people in rural areas since people in this country believe they may live happily until the age of 90. Meals are typically made out of naturally grown items such as squash, corn, and beans. Costa Ricans share a life philosophy known as pura vida. Pura vida translates to having a peaceful existence, going with the flow, not forcing life, and finding delight in simple things. This is why they have adopted a cheerful attitude, abandoning stress and tension. No one, for example, honks at the car in front while driving, even if it has been waiting for a long time. Nobody is in a rush. They take life leisurely, are kind to one another, and are patient. Costa Ricans are also more welcoming and friendly than people in developed countries. When a problem arises here, people band together to solve it, and they can be helpful and truly nice to strangers. For example, someone on the street may grin at you for no apparent reason. People in industrialized modern countries, on the other hand, frequently focus on themselves. The concept of family is one of Costa Rica's essential principles. People spend their lives with their large extended families. The local populace gets up about 5:30 a.m. and goes to bed at 9 p.m. Their daily habits are rather consistent. In other words, they get up and get to bed early. This is why the nights are completely silent, especially in less populated places, and people withdraw to their houses. Of course, this does not imply that the country is devoid of nightlife.
Do what you do. Hey.
Costa Rica will not disappoint you if you want to have fun throughout the day and at night, as well as meet new people. Thousands of people party at night, coming from all over the world to have fun and meet new people. They are generally friendly and open-minded. If you look after yourself, you can find the entertainment you want on a budget here. Furthermore, Costa Rica, along with Colombia, is one of the Latin American countries with the sexiest ladies. Traveling from the central towns to the countryside in Costa Rica will reveal a plethora of bicycles. Bicycles are widely used in this area, and the general public prefers cycling to motorized vehicles. This is a sporty option that also saves money on gas. Costa Ricans enjoy both playing and watching football, even though their national leagues are not well known on a global scale. Football fields may be found not just in every city, but also in practically every town. There are three fundamental features in a traditional Costa Rican village structure: the church, the school, and the football field. Surprisingly, Costa Rica lacks an addressing system. For example, your home will not have a street name or a door number. So how do you know where you are? People describe home or business addresses using a reference point. For instance, across the street from the school, next to the cemetery, behind the church, and so forth. People have no issue determining addresses using reference points because the country and cities are small. Furthermore, if you fly above Costa Rica, you'll note that there aren't many high-rise concrete buildings. Structures are often one-story or two-story detached structures. Costa Rica is even referred to by some as a single-story country. Costa Rica, with its 51,000 square kilometers, is a large agricultural area. Another distinct advantage exists in the country for those who work online and earn money through the internet. If you can obtain a residency permit in Costa Rica and relocate there, you will not be required to pay taxes on your earnings when you open a bank account in the country. Even if you withdraw money from a Costa Rican bank, you will not be deemed a tax resident in Costa Rica if your tax records are kept in another country. This privilege is available in only a few nations around the world. Generally, wherever you have a bank account, tax authorities will want you to register as a taxpayer in that nation for the income you deposit there. This is not a requirement in Costa Rica. However, it is vital to note that approximately 15% of Costa Rica's registered population is unemployed. This is a pretty high percentage for a country, so if you plan to relocate to Costa Rica and hunt for a job, keep in mind that businesses typically favor its people. Finally, it's worth noting that the monthly rent for a two-bedroom apartment in the capital's central regions is roughly $700. If you're ready to stretch your budget, you can rent exquisite beachfront villas with gardens for $1,500 per month. That's a quick rundown of Costa Rica. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel before you leave.